Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. For today, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this really cute happy birthday card using the Country Livin set. I'm really showcasing the Country Livin set, which is where this truck comes from. You could use any greeting you want to. This is the one that I chose just because I think it fits really well, but you could use any greeting. If you wanted to just make this into a thinking of you card or a hey friend card, you could use any greeting you want. Like I said, I just happened to grab this one because I thought it fit really well. So that's the card we're making for today. These stamp sets that we're going to be using, I'm using the sentiment is from the Guy Greeting set, and this is actually a really good masculine set. We have a few now. When I first became a demonstrator, we didn't really have very many masculine sets that I knew of, at least. This is the first one that I bought, and I still use it over and over and over. It's just amazing. You can do so many different things with this. So I'm going to be using this purely for the sentiment, but it does have a lot of other great images that you can create some fun cards with as well. Like I said, we're really showcasing this Country Livin stamp set, and specifically this truck. The boots and the guitar are great images as well, and they're good sized images, so you can color them, stamp them a bunch of times, do a ton of different stuff, and they're really nice to work with. For our card today, we're also going to be using basic black ink, and you know what? We're using Cherry Cobbler, and I forgot to grab it. It was in my little basket of goodies next to me. So we're going to be using basic black and Cherry Cobbler. And then for our paper, we are going to be using a piece of thick Whisper White, and this is cut at 5 inches by 3 inches. I have a piece of Cherry Cobbler, which is cut at, what is this cut at? 5 1/4 by 4. Hang on, let me see. 5 1/4 by 4. Yes, that's what it's cut at. I don't know why I couldn't remember that. Anyways, piece of Cherry Cobbler, 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And then this piece is a just our standard card base, which is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. This is Pear Pizzazz. This color, the sample that I made, I used Always Artichoke. But I wanted to use a different green color, a lighter green, just to see how it turns out and just kind of mix it up. So that's another thing too. If you don't have these exact colors, we have tons of different colors of green and red and all of that kind of stuff. So feel free to mix it up, play around, and see what ends up happening. Just use what you have on hand. So anyways, I'm also going to be using our Stampin' Right markers. I'm going to be using a variation of different colors. So as I use them, I will tell you guys which colors I am using so you guys know and can use the same colors as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so to start, I want to go ahead and get all of my stamping out of the way. So I'm going to start off by using my basic black ink, and I'm going to stamp the truck and my greeting. Now, these two sentiments are actually separate, so I just mounted them up on the same block so that when I stamp it, I get the spacing that I want. You can stamp them separately if you want to. It doesn't matter either way. With this, the truck stamp, I find it easiest to lay it down and take the ink pad to the stamp instead of taking the stamp to the ink pad as I would normally do. Because it's larger, I just find that I get a better coverage of ink doing it this way. But that's just my personal, I don't want to say my personal preference, but that's what I found works the best. So I'm going to stamp it in the lower right-hand corner, just like that. And then I'm going to take my sentiments here and ink those up, and I'm going to stamp these over here in the top left corner, just like that. Now I do need to find my Stampin' Scrub. There it is. And I'm going to set this off to the side just for a second. I'm going to get this bad boy out, clean off our truck stamp, because we are going to be using this one more time. I'm going to bring in my piece of Cherry Cobbler, and I also have a scratch piece of paper here, and I'm going to take my Cherry Cobbler ink and just stamp the truck all around. We're just basically creating a little bit of interest in the background. You can hardly see it, but I think it gives it a nice effect, and it looks it gives it some more dimension so that you can, it's not just a flat piece of cardstock in the back, is basically what I'm trying to say. I'm not doing a very good job at it, but that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I'm just gonna stamp this. I'm not worrying about stamping it in the middle because this really is just a really thin border. You don't see much of it at all. So I'm not being too cautious of stamping it in the middle. Sometimes we do. Sometimes I am pretty cautious of doing that and making sure I get it all over. But for this one, I'm not worrying about it. So that is that. And that's all the stamping that we're going to be doing. Everything else that we're going to be doing is really going to be the coloring part of it. So I'm going to take this piece, set that off to the side, and I'm going to bring my truck in. And I don't want this video to be super long, so I'm coloring the truck in pieces and different portions. So to start off with, and I would recommend having a little piece of scratch paper to work with just so you can kind of get your colors right. So I am going to start with all of the metal pieces, or what I would think the metal pieces would be on the car. And for that, I am using Smoky Slate and Basic Gray. And for me, when I first colored this, I just kind of took my little piece of paper and tested out some colors to see which ones I thought would work best. So essentially what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to start with my Smoky Slate. And I'm going to do a wash of that. And this is how I'm going to color everything. So I'm going to start with my lighter color and then do a little bit of accenting in the darker color and then go back with my lighter color and really blend that as much as possible. Now these markers aren't meant to blend. They're not alcohol markers. They're water-based markers. So they're not like Copics. They're not designed to blend really smoothly and evenly, but you can still get a little bit of shading and it looks fine at the end of the day. So I'm going to go ahead and color all of the metal parts, or what I would look at to be the metal parts, and then I will be right back. Okay, so I colored all of those pieces, so I think I'm going to be good for now. Actually, now that I say that, I'm going to color in the middle of these tires with Basic Gray. Okay, so that's that. All of my grays are done. Now I'm going to go and color the wood piece on this truck back here. So I think, and I can't remember exactly which colors I used. Maybe I think I used Crumb Cake. And then I went in with some soft suede to add the darker spots. Yep, that's exactly what I did. So I'm going to do it the exact same way. I'm going to color all of the wood part in a solid wash of Crumb Cake, and then I'm going to go back in and add some accents with soft suede. Okay, so I'm done with that piece as well. And now it's time to color the actual red part of the truck. So for that, I'm going to be using Real Red and Cherry Cobbler and just doing the exact same thing. This part takes a little bit longer, obviously, because you have more surface area to cover, but it's the exact same process. I'm gonna go over everything with Real Red and then add some darker accents with Cherry Cobbler and then go over everything again with the Real Red. Okay, so now we have our little red truck color, and like you can see, I didn't do a ton of shading. I just did a little bit here and there where I felt like I wanted a little bit of darker color, but I didn't do a ton. So I'm actually going to take Basic Black and color in the wheels, and then I'm going to use, I think I used some combination of these markers. I think I'm going to use is this Wild Wasabi? Yes, Wild Wasabi as my lighter color. And Old Olive? No, I don't really like that. What is this one? Always Artichoke. Yes, we're going to use Wild Wasabi and Old Artichoke. to do the grass. And then I will be back again. Okay, so I'm done with that. And now there's just a couple small little details. I'm going to take my Daffodil Delight and just fill in these little lights here. And then I'm going to take, what is this? Soft Sky. And just make a couple little lines on the windows just so that they look more, so it doesn't look like we just simply forgot about them. Okay, and that is the coloring of our little truck. Super cute, super easy. I did actually want to grab, so I just want to mention, you don't have to have the Stampin' Write markers. You don't have to have any kind of markers. You could, if you have crayons, colored pencils, whatever you have at home, use what you have. My husband, when I was working on this project, when I was working on designing this project last night, my husband was like, I want to color one of those. So I stamped the truck in basic black, just like we did for this one, and he took some colored pencils and colored that just like that. So you don't have to use the Stampin' Write markers. I just use them because I have them and I particularly like them, but use what you have at home. Use the supplies you already have. You don't have to run out and buy a ton of stuff to make a really pretty card. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I feel like sometimes people think that they have to spend a ton of money. Okay, now I need to go and buy all those Stampin' Write markers. No, you don't have to. Use what you have at home. So that's my spiel for today. Okay, moving on. I'm going to grab my Fast Fuse and my piece of cherry cobbler. I'm just using Fast Fuse because I want to make sure that these two pieces stick together, and because we did use a lot of ink, I don't want to risk it getting warped or anything like that. So I'm just going to stick that on there just like that. I'm going to then grab my card base, and to put this onto our card base today, I'm actually going to be using our foam strips. And I've used our foam strips a couple times recently to adhere bases to our cards, because I just think that it's really fun. It gives it, they're thicker than dimensionals, so it gives the card a nice lift. And I don't know, I just think I really like it. So I've been using it and it's actually quite fun. So I'm actually going to use my bone folder. Well, no, I'm not. Sometimes I can use my bone folder to kind of help me tear it really nicely. And that's just going to be good enough. Oops. Peel off all of the backings. And then stick this bad boy down. Super simple. Just like that. And there you go. There's our card for today, guys. So again, I did use a different colored card base. I like both of them. I think they both look awesome. So use what you have. Hopefully you guys enjoy this project, and be on the lookout for some new videos coming soon. Don't forget, if you want your copy of the Occasions catalog, to let me know. You can go to my website down below, use the contact me form, or you can email me directly at littlemooncreation@gmail.com. And just let me know that you want a catalog and give me your address, and I will send those right out to you guys. And I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!